In recent years, a relatively unknown communication system called the Internet has exploded in popularity with such intensity that it's predicted that over 25 million people will be using it by the year 1998. There is nothing in the history of the human race that compares to the impact that the Internet will have on how we communicate. The question is not whether you'll become part of that action, but when. Hello, my name is Scott Reynolds. Welcome to Discovering the Internet. In this tutorial, we'll take a look at the differences between the Internet and the World Wide Web. The differences between commercial online services such as the Microsoft Network, Prodigy, or America Online, and the Internet. How to get connected to the web. How to use something called a web browser to navigate the web. What a web page is. And how to search, locate, and download all types of files, from information files to video and audio files. In this first lesson, we'll take a look at the Internet, the World Wide Web, and commercial online services. As an archaeologist, I do most of my research here in my lab with my colleague Kathy. We use reference materials such as these books and journals. Or we used to, before the Internet, that is. The Internet was developed in the 1960s by the United States military, but was quickly adapted by researchers such as myself to pool research information with other scientists from across the globe. The early experimental stages of the Internet's development were primitive and involved only 4 computers. These 4 computers later developed into many more computers, and eventually into something called the ARPANET. ARPANET, later dubbed the Internet, was created for and by the United States Department of Defense, whose assignment was to construct a communication system based on an intricate web of interconnected computers. The Internet, eventually crossing international boundaries, quickly grew into an array of computers interconnected together around the world. Today, it is this physical connection of these thousands of information-laden computers that is the Internet. It's common these days to hear a lot about the World Wide Web and the Internet. But just what is the web, and how does it relate to the Internet? The World Wide Web, or the web, is a highly ambitious project whose goal is to provide an interactive and simple interface to the vast resources of the Internet. The web was developed in response to the difficult nature of the Internet. Not only was the Internet inaccessible to most people, but to communicate on it required a certain degree of computer skill. You needed knowledge of sophisticated Unix computer systems, extensive command lines, and cryptic computer encoding. But just how do the Internet and the web relate to one another? Kathy and I have had this discussion before. My feeling is that the web takes advantage of the Internet's interconnected design and takes advantage of the Internet's system of cables and satellites. But it is totally separate and not a part of the Internet system itself.
Well, as you know, Scott, I disagree with you. Without the Internet, there would be no web, which means they really are part of the same system. You're right about the Internet, though. I like to think about it this way. It's a connection of hardware, wires, and cables, sort of like a personal computer. But the web is really an extension of the Internet. The web, combined with a web browser, is like the Microsoft Windows or the Macintosh operating systems that make it easy for us to interact with our computers. The web makes it possible to easily interact with the once cryptic Internet using the same point-and-click interface we have become accustomed to using with our native Windows or Mac programs. So, my feeling is that the Internet and the web are not separate, but work together in harmony. In fact, the web makes the Internet a simplified, extremely fun, image-laden tool, and much more accessible to the average person.
That's a good way to think about it. I think you better get back to work now, Kathy. Thanks.
Glad to help.
Speaking of image-laden tools, another reason for the web's increasing popularity is the ease in which it accesses the Internet's multimedia capabilities. Using the web, we are able to enjoy picture, video, and sound presentations from all the reaches of the globe. There are museums to visit, an unlimited source of magazines to read, special interest groups that we can join on just about any subject imaginable, entertainment for all ages, capitals to visit, entire countries to see, continents to conquer, and mysterious worlds to find that are all part of the World Wide Web. You have probably heard of some of the more popular commercial online services such as Prodigy, America Online, the Microsoft Network, or CompuServe. If you are a member of a commercial online service, it may seem as if you are on the web, but they are different. These commercial online services work much like the internet and a web combination. You have to dial up and log on to gain access. They both rely on beautifully designed graphics and pages with point-and-click words that you use to navigate. On both commercial online services and the web, we can download files, join special interest groups, chat online live with other users, or view multimedia-rich files. And presently, just about all of the commercial online services offer access to the World Wide Web through something called a gateway service. There are other advantages to using a commercial online service as well. When we log on to an online service, our computer is linked directly to that service. We don't have to make that additional step of accessing an internet access provider, as you do to gain access to the web. There is also plenty of good technical support available, either from the service or from one of the online members. The advantage of the web is that its vast supply of resources is economical. With commercial online services rates, much like cable TV rates, you pay a monthly flat rate, and in addition, there is a per-use rate added on after so many hours of use, or for extra services, such as downloading files. On the web, there are no per-usage fees. Downloading files is free, and you can do anything and more on the web that you can do on a commercial online service. So why not use the web? Despite the wealth of resources available on the web, many people aren't tapping into it, mainly due to a fear of technology or a lack of knowledge on how to access the web. By the time we finish this tutorial, you will possess the knowledge and skills necessary to tackle many of the mysteries the web has to offer. You will be ready to discover and be a part of a fascinating and historically important phenomenon. That's it for Lesson 1. In this lesson, we talked about the differences between the internet and how it differs from the World Wide Web. We also took a look at the differences between the internet, the World Wide Web, and commercial online services. In Lesson 2, we will get busy. We'll look at a very crucial step in getting your personal computer hooked up to the web, which is finding an internet access provider to connect your computer to the internet. We will also take a look at a graphical browser and learn how to take full advantage of history lists, bookmarks, email, and other graphical browser features. It's the end of the day, and I have some work to do at home. Kathy, I'm going.
Oh, Scott, I've decided to take tonight's flight home. Would you mind giving me a ride to the airport?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. The internet and the web are completely different. Happy?
You bet. Let's go.
Okay.
See you in Lesson 2.